Good morning. I'm going to invite those standing, if you'll just keep moving forward. We got a lot of people in the back. It's going to be a tight squeeze. But if you'll keep moving forward, that'll let the folks in the back get a little closer where they'll be able to see and hear better. Yeah, just keep coming forward. Good morning. My name is Todd Raspberry, and I serve as the Vice President for Philanthropy and External Relations at West Texas A&M University and the Executive Director of the West Texas A&M University Foundation. It's my privilege to welcome you to the campus this morning for an exciting and historic announcement as part of the One West fundraising campaign. I want to begin by introducing several persons joining us for today's announcements. These are our distinguished guests, members of the Schaeffer family. Stanley Schaeffer, his daughter Jackie Burns and Stan Burns, David Schaeffer and Sherry Schaeffer, Jerry Schaeffer and Buffy Schaeffer. And there are about 27 other members of the Schaeffer family representing about 4 generations here today. Let's greet them and thank them for being here. You will hear more about the Schaeffer family legacy at WT and why today's announcement is so important to the family and the university. I'd like to introduce members of our One West Campaign Leadership Committee. Joining us today are Terry and Dyke Rogers and Sherry and David Schaeffer. Other members of our campaign steering committee are Jim J. Brewer and Leah McLean and Cheryl and Alex Fairley. Let's thank them for their service to WT in the campaign. We have with us today members of the WT administration, faculty, and students, as well as members of the Foundation Board of Directors and many friends and acquaintances of the Schaeffer family. Thank you all for being here today. You make this a very special day with your presence. Let me take a moment to introduce those who will be speaking in the order that you'll be hearing from them. Terry and Dyke Rogers, who serve as the co-chairs of the Campaign Leadership Committee. Dr. Walter V. Windler, the 11th President of West Texas A&M University. Stanley Schaeffer and David Schaeffer. And Dr. Neil Terry, Executive Vice President and Provost of West Texas A&M University. Let's thank them for contributing this morning. Great universities share at least 3 things in common. Outstanding faculty who create an exceptional educational experience for students and who conduct important research in their respective fields. A compelling vision and identity as a university of higher education that can lead into the future. And generous philanthropic support from donors. WT has a long reputation of outstanding faculty committed to continually strengthening the educational experience offered to students. The vision of the long-range plan WT 125 from the Panhandle to the world creates a compelling vision for what it means to thrive as a regional research university that takes seriously its responsibility to place and citizens as well as making contributions across the globe. And WT donors generously invest as partners in the educational mission. Our donors represent everything that is good about the public-private partnership that makes this university great. And today, it is my privilege and honor to announce, as part of the One West campaign, a gift of $2.5 million from the Schaeffer family to name the Geneva Schaeffer Education Building. If you look out the windows to your left, you see the back of the education building which will bear Geneva's name. For more than 30 years, That building has not been used. It will have new life breathed in it soon and once again be a center for activity on the campus. And more will be said by our speakers about the gift, its impact, and the vision for that facility. Today's announcement represents a half-century dream of at least one person, Mr. Stanley Schaeffer. Many years ago, Geneva and Stanley began shaping their vision for what WT should and could be as the Panhandle's university. Together with their close friends, they began a philanthropic legacy which included sharing their vision with everyone they knew and asking others to join in giving to WT. Early in their commitment to WT, Stanley dreamed of one day having Geneva's name on the education building. And Stanley, congratulations and thank you for never giving up on your dream, because today it becomes a reality. I want to now invite forward our co-chairs of the One West campaign, Terry and Dyke Rogers.
Thank you for being here for a day of celebration. West Texas A&M University is the Panhandle's university, and as such is committed through the long-range plan WT 125 from the Panhandle to the world to serving locally first by addressing the opportunities and issues of the people of our region as a regional research university. Today's announcement of a $2.5 million gift is part of the fundraising campaign that announced a public goal to raise $125 million to fuel the vision cast in the WT 125 long-range plan. The One West campaign represents the largest and most ambitious fundraising effort ever undertaken across the Texas Panhandle region. The One West campaign is comprehensive, which means that a philanthropic gift to anything at WT counts in the campaign. We want donors to give to areas about which they are most compassionate about. The One West campaign has 3 funding priorities. Our first priority is people, through support for students and faculty. Second is programs, both existing and new programs developed to enhance the academic mission. The third priority is places, like the Geneva Schaeffer Education Building that will soon open after 30 years. Thank you so much.
When we publicly announced the One West campaign goal of $125 million in September, we had already raised $80 million toward that goal. On behalf of the Campaign Leadership Committee, we want to thank the Schaeffer family. Stanley, many of us have attended WT classes in that building, including Terry and myself. As a matter of fact, when I came here, I only had one class in the Banana Building and everything else was over there. So, on behalf of the I am so honored to be now part of a university at this time when the education building will be renovated and bear Geneva's name. The growth and continued success of WT is due in part to the investment of individual donors, foundations, businesses, and the community who support the mission of WT in many different ways. We want to thank you for your generous financial contributions. Schaeffers, thank you for breathing new life into the education building.
Thank you so much, Dyke and Terry. We appreciate their leadership of this effort. Lay leadership. We expect Todd to be working hard every day. We're paying him. But these lay leaders make a huge difference in what happens at West Texas A&M University. And it is the essence of the public and private partnership that makes a good university work. It's already been mentioned several times. I'll mention it again. The Schaeffers have created a transformative legacy at WT through their engagement, persistence, and support over a 1/2 century period of time. They've been there every step of the way through all kinds of leadership transitions, different perspectives, and so on and so forth. The Schaeffers have been there. When we look across the higher education landscape, you see very few institutions that have a donor legacy like we do here at West Texas A&M. As Todd said, philanthropic support is the difference between good universities and great universities. Our aspiration is to be great at what we do, which is serve West Texas, and we do it in such a way, our hope is that we do it in such a way that it's attractive to people from all over the state and indeed the nation and beyond. Stanley, thank you in Geneva for the many years you have supported WT and for encouraging others to join you in your quest to transform our university. Stanley, thanks so much. You in Geneva have done something that few are able to do. You have passed on your philanthropic values to your children. I know that the Schaeffer legacy will continue to exist here at West Texas A&M because of that. And getting an organization to what I call turn a generational corner is exceedingly important and very challenging. But the Schaeffers are doing it, and we appreciate that so much. To Stanley's children and great-grandchildren, learn from your grandfather and your parents. We want you to be a part of the Schaeffer family legacy at West Texas A&M University. It's something to be very, very proud of. I did not have the opportunity to know Geneva. She passed shortly before I arrived at WT. However, I feel like I know her because everyone still talks about her and her continuing influence at West Texas A&M University. I was just talking with the Longs, and we were reflecting on the fact that Geneva was a very hard person to say no to. When she had a passion for something, it was contagious. And how valuable that is in any organization. Contagious passion leads to forward progress. Shortly after I arrived, Stanley and I had a conversation, and Stanley shared with me the opportunity, if the opportunity ever became available, he sure would like to have Geneva's name on the old education building. So this didn't happen a month ago. This has been going on for a long, long time. And since my 5 years here, or it's almost 6 now, it's been going on. And he needs to be careful what he says to a university president when it involves a potential contribution. For the last 4 years, we have worked diligently to repurpose this building, have it still focus on education, and it will become a hub for digital education that will help us reach more people, and for me, so very importantly, at a lower cost, a more cost-effective educational opportunity. And that day, we started a discussion. When we were preparing the legislative appropriations request that included a renovation for the old ed, I still call it the old ed building, the Geneva Schaeffer Education Building, I'd already planned to put the squeeze on Stanley for a naming contribution. I hate to be so blunt about it, so pragmatic, but that's what we did. What I did not anticipate was his putting the Schaeffer squeeze on me. Let me just say, although neither of us got exactly what we wanted, we both agreed that the education building was the right memorial legacy to honor a lifelong passion of Geneva's that started right there in kindergarten. It's just amazing when you think about it. And here we are, lo, these many years later, and it's still here. It is still here. Stanley, I could be no more pleased as president to have the opportunity to help make your dream for Geneva become a reality. We appreciate you so very much. Let me also say a word of thanks to the Texas A&M University system and to our Chancellor, John Sharp, for helping us secure $45 million in funds to do the renovation. This is an old building that's got, I'm an architect, I would say it's got good bones, but it still needs a lot of work. Now, it's been vacant for all these years, but thanks to Randy and the people that take care of our buildings, it's been well weatherproofed. It's still in good shape in many ways, but it needs a serious refurbish on the inside and changed purposes. I'm going to invite Dr. Terry to come and share with you some of the planned uses for the renovation. And I want you to know that the Geneva Schaeffer Education Building will be a centerpiece for West Texas A&M University right here, right across the street, right in the heart of West Texas A&M. Now it's my privilege and honor to invite to the podium David Schaeffer and Stanley Schaeffer. Is that right? Oh, Stanley's going first. Thanks, I made a faux pas. I didn't realize that Stanley was going to go first. I was thinking youth before beauty.
Thank you. Well, I know that David is supposed to give the family response, but just let me slip in here to say thank you to everyone who's in attendance today. This is such a momentous occasion for me and my family. It's the culmination of a dream that has been in our lives for 20 plus years. There is no way to express the love that Geneva had for this university and that building. And to be able to honor her in this legacy, in this manner, is simply amazing. We're so grateful that the stars finally aligned to present the opportunity for this dream to come true. We are truly humbled, excited, thankful, and proud.
Really don't need to say anything after that, but we do need a formal response from the family, and this is that. First and foremost, on behalf of West Texas A&M University and the extended Schaeffer family, let me thank each of you for being here today to celebrate this gift to WT. Also, as a family, we feel that we are not here today to accept thanks for this gift. But we feel it is our responsibility to say thank you to WT for the many ways it has changed and improved our lives. The gift to WT was made for two reasons by the Schaeffer family. First, the whole family loves WT, and we want WT to forever be capable of carrying out its mission of educating tomorrow's leaders. Secondly, for our family, as it's been stated, it is an opportunity for us to honor the legacy of Geneva Schaeffer. Just a quick note, Dr. Wendler touched on it, but when WT announced that they had the funds to bring old Dad back to life, Dad was on the phone to Jackie, Jerry, and I within 6 minutes, telling us of that announcement and telling that this was the opportunity to honor Mom. Because WT meant the world to her, and old Ed had a very special place in her heart. Today, most of you know who Geneva Schaeffer was. Some may not have the full picture, though. She was a loving wife and soulmate to Stanley, And let me tell you, they made a terrific pair. She was an unparalleled mother. She raised 3 pretty good kids. A super grandmother, but I've been told all grandmothers are super, so I don't know. She was a loving sister. You know, we could talk about family, but really we don't need to do. The family's the easy stuff. She loved family. The next is where it really gets hard to explain. She was one of those rare people that never met somebody that wasn't a friend after about 5 or 10 minutes with her. Not an acquaintance, a friend. And it didn't matter if that person was a world-famous entertainer or just the janitor at the building. Mom befriended everyone she met, and she fit in with everyone she liked. She was not pretentious. What people saw was what they got in Mom. I think a lot of this came from her humble beginnings in Canyon. She was one of 6 children, and they had what they needed growing up, but they didn't have any extra. Next, she was a public school teacher, and even after retiring a few years earlier than most, she remained for her whole life a strong supporter of education. I firmly believe that love for education began here on this campus. The education building, Old Ed, wasn't known and fixing to change. She was there during her elementary years. She attended the WT demonstration school, and she was taught by teachers of teachers. But more importantly, she was taught by college students who wanted to be teachers. And can you imagine the energy that those student teachers gave those students, such as my mom and her sister Joan? Mom was well educated in life. She graduated with a bachelor's degree from WT, but when she decided to get a master's in reading, she made the hard choice not to choose WT, but she chose another school that at that time had the premier reading program in the country. She always wanted the best education for herself so that she could help those she taught, and she was a great teacher. I know I had her in school, and she improved me by being my teacher. After retiring from teaching, Mom turned to promoting education through philanthropy. Mom and Dad didn't have wealth back then, but they had backbone. So they gave where they could, but more often than not, they gave of their time and efforts. Philanthropy is not just giving money, it is giving all resources. For those that worked with Mom on the projects, you know what time and effort meant. A lot of blood, a lot of sweat, a lot of tears, while Mom gave the orders. Geneva Schaeffer was a visionary. She saw needs before others did. On this campus, she led an effort to move the campus from brown and gray to friendly and inviting. Most of the couches and lounge chairs you see that the students enjoying today, that is an example of the vision of Geneva Schaeffer. I think anyone that remembers knows that this school was a great educational facility in the 50s through the 80s. But it was very drab and a very plain campus. Mom led the fight to improve the quality of this campus. She wanted to improve the educational quality for students, and that quality was not just professors. It was the environment students spend 4 years within. That is where Mom shined as a leader and an organizer. She joined with Helen Peel and Barbara Bain to create the team that led this change in the campus. But more importantly, most will agree, that has led to a change in the overall culture at West Texas A&M University. Mom was a warrior for many causes, some simple, like her giving to Cedar Canyon Methodist Camp, and others more timely and needed, like her Girl Power initiatives. Mom loved the causes she supported, but none more than this university. WT was always Mom's first love. Let me back up. It was her second love after Stanley, her first love after Stanley. Mom received her start here in life, but more importantly, She credited WT with giving her the college education to move forward and be a success in life. But Mom knew it was not just her life that was improved here. It was Stanley's, Jackie's, Jerry's, mine, and the whole Schaeffer family. Mom had a deep feeling that we all have a responsibility to give back to the things and the people that help us move forward and succeed. She lived by example. We all watched her and were amazed by her tireless fight for the success of this university. Those that were close to her had sore backs and lighter wallets because of those fights. But also, those that were close are still involved in those challenges to help WT even today. That is why we are here today to honor Geneva Schaeffer with the naming of the old Ed building to the Geneva Schaeffer Education Building, but more so to continue the fight that Mom instilled in all of us, to leave this place a better place than when we got here. That is Mom's legacy, one of constant support and constant push towards improvement. As a family, we're pleased and proud that the funds we've talked about today will endow 2 scholarships: the Geneva Schaeffer Excellence in Education Scholarship and the Stanley Schaeffer Excellence in Business Scholarship. It is such a blessing to know that our family will help many WT students gain that same quality education that has so greatly blessed the Schaeffer family. Mom would be looking down from heaven and saying, "Well done, family." But that well done is not for the naming of the building. A naming is just an example to show others that if our family can do this, yours can do something too. It might be larger, it might be smaller, but you can do something. Mom taught us all that from her humble beginnings to her lasting legacy, anything can be done if the desire is there. As a family, we would like to thank Dr. Wendler and the entire WT family for this ability to honor Geneva Schaeffer with this naming opportunity. We want to thank all the family members and friends here to support this beautiful time to honor Mom. We also want to thank the WT supporters that are here today. It is because of you that WT will continue forward with its mission to provide a great education to our future. In finishing, I would not do justice to the Geneva Schaeffer legacy if I did not challenge each of you to find a way to use education to first make yourself a better person. But secondly, and probably more importantly, to find ways to help make others' lives better through education. Geneva and Stanley Schaeffer have always believed that the best way you can make other lives better through education is to find a way to support West Texas A&M University. Thank you.
Thank you to the Schaeffer family for making this event possible. I've been at West Texas A&M for 25 years, and like everyone else, I look forward to seeing this important location return to service. We've not finalized plans for the building, but some general notes I can share at this time include: total space will be approximately 60,000 square feet, including 3 full floors and approximately half the basement. The basement's actually bonus space. You weren't counting on the basement, so that's helped out quite a bit. Occupancy will include 2 anchor tenants. First, instructional design space to advance online learning. Second, graduate school and research. Several smaller departments dedicated to student support and success will also be in the facility. Let me provide a little background on the 2 anchor tenants and kind of give some ideas to why they are a focus of this particular effort at this time. Over the past 25 years, WT matured from 6,500 students to a more robust 10,000. Much of that growth is directly attributed to online education. Today, many universities offer online programs. More than 1,600 universities are part of the most recent U.S. News and World Report online rankings. Keep in mind, whenever we started this in 1997, we were very much a pioneer, but others have now kind of caught up a little bit. For West Texas A&M University, it's time to push for the next level of online instruction. The new facility will include a single location offering a wide variety of online support services to faculty and students, dedicated classrooms and private rooms that will facilitate virtual content, an innovation lab for emerging technology in the educational environment, including gamification, virtual reality, and augmented reality. Much like the 90s, it's hard to know how technology will change and where we'll be at 25 years from now. That said, the new facility will help shape the future of online education at West Texas A&M University. The second major anchor tenant in the new building will end up being graduate school and research. The peer recognition of a university is often defined by the status of graduate programs and research. The magic number to be considered a distinctive graduate school is to encompass at least 25% of university enrollment. In recent years, West Texas A&M University surpassed that 25% threshold. This is an exciting time for graduate programs and research. The new facility will reinforce existing success and provide space for new initiatives, including a couple of key efforts involving doctorate programs and sponsored research we hope to announce in the near future. On a personal note, I had the pleasure of knowing Geneva, so let me share a story related to campus construction. Classroom Center was remodeled in 2009, and I was serving as Dean of the College of Business at the time. Shortly after the construction was completed, I was sitting in my office one afternoon and Geneva walked in. She quickly informed me the architects had made significant mistakes when designing my office. She said, "Someone walking in the hallway can see you in the office, and this is a problem. Nothing personal, but the primary brands on the college campus are the president and the deans. What if a hostile individual enters the building?" Meaning the dean would be a target, by the way. She added that the office door should be moved from front-facing to behind the administrative assistant, where someone can be slowed down if coming to see me in anger. Finally, an exit door on the other side of the office needs to be added. It can't just be one way in. So it was clear everything Geneva said was correct. I had no reason to argue with anything. It actually quite concerned me. First thing I did is share the conversation with my wife. And you may or may not know my wife, but she teaches finance. Always the financial opportunist, my wife responded by upgrading my life insurance. Somewhat as if Geneva herself had put forth a hot investment tip. Second thing I did was contact the physical plant. They came over to take a look and return with an estimate, which was well beyond our budget limits. You got to end up going through and move the door to another spot, fill in the door, create a door in the back. That wasn't going to work. So I asked for a more cost-effective alternative. A couple days later, they responded by bringing me a doorstop to help brace the front door and something called a Stinger handheld emergency glass breaker for the window as an alternative exit, which got the total cost down to $9. I reminded them it'd be hard to get to the front door in time to use the doorstop, and I was on the second floor, complicating a window exit. The response is, "You're in decent shape, and with adrenaline rush, it'll probably be fine." In the end, I worked in that remodeled office for over 11 years, and Geneva's words always stayed with me, as I tried to avoid escalating any conflicts with students or faculty over the years. Let me close by stating that we're grateful to honor the legacy of Geneva Schaeffer with the naming of a building that serves as an institutional bridge from the past to the future. Again, I want to thank the Schaeffer family for the many ways you support WT. You are much appreciated. I'll now invite Dr. Raspberry back to the podium. Thank you.
We will be doing this often in the months to come, and when we dedicate that building, we'll have another occasion. But to Stanley and his family, let's say thank you again. This concludes our formal press announcement today. I invite you to If you get a chance to say thank you to the Schaeffer family in the coming weeks, the media that is here, you will have a chance for interviews. If you will just get with Chip Chandler, we'll make that possible. And to each of you who came this morning, family, friends, WT administration, faculty, staff, thank you very much for being here, and we are now dismissed.